Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic, Volume 9, Episode 7. Today, we are going to be playing a supersized puzzle because it has been a week. Every 7 days, we tackle a larger puzzle than usual in a genre we have seen before. It'll be Wednesdays this volume, it looks like. And today it is a Voxas. You can, of course, go back and watch my previous Voxas solve so that you can get a feel for it before you look at this larger one. But if you just want a quick refresher, we will do that together as we take a look at the rules. Voxas is a region division puzzle. This means that we're going to be, instead of shading cells or entering anything into cells, we're going to be drawing lines between cells. The way this is presented in the puzzle interface that we're going to be using are dotted lines that separate cells, and we're just going to be dragging across those to draw lines. The rules say we need to divide the grid into 1x2 and 1x3 regions. So dominoes and triominoes, the others that are slightly longer. Borders must separate two different regions. Borders with white dots separate regions with the same size and orientation. As an example here, this horizontal domino is separated by a white dot from another horizontal domino. And you can see the same thing happening here in a different layout. Borders with black dots separate regions with neither the same size nor the same orientation. So as an example here, this vertical triomino is separated by a black dot from a horizontal domino. So different sizes and different orientations. Borders with gray dots separate regions with either the same size or the same orientation, but not both. And an example here where these two have differing sizes but the same orientation, and another example here where they have different orientations but the same size. Those are all the possibilities, and as you can see, regions might not be divided, might not be separated by a dot at all. But if a dot is present, they must follow those rules. Also, not present here in this example is the fact that regions could be separated by more than one dot. That's perfectly legal as well. Those are all of the rules of Voxas, so it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Voxas puzzle was set by Eric Fox. We can do a lot of things on the edges usually because when there's a line close to them, close to an edge, or actually, rather than saying edge, lines that are close together are informative because they determine directionality. So just as a random example right here, we've got this cell has to be part of a vertical domino or trimino, and because of the white dot here, we've got to have another one over here that does the same thing, so we can draw that line in. So we can do that any place we have a white dot next to a narrow alley, which usually isn't often in a Voxas puzzle because that is a fairly easy deduction to make. But I see a handful of those here that I am going to pencil in before we get going. So here on the left side, this must go further north. It's got to be at least two cells. And this can't go further north. Okay, because the counterpart rule is that with the black dots next to an alley, since the alley has to be vertical, the black dot has to be for a horizontal region. So we can mark in both of these cases that the black dot is for a horizontal region of size at least 2. That makes this a 1x3, which means both of these have to be next to 1x3s. But it could be like these three. They could be just parallel to each other. We don't know that. This black dot, though, since we know exactly this is a 1x3 vertical, this is a 1x2 horizontal. And therefore, this is, in fact, two parallel 1x3s. So that's going to stop there. This has to be a vertical segment of size at least 2. So it's either 3 and these are both dominoes, or it's 2 and these are both trominos. Don't have a way of knowing which one. This black dot with an alley here means that we have to go vertically. This one was going to have to go horizontally, and that's good because that tells us this is size 3 because of the black dot. So this does that. This one is going to be a horizontal domino, and if it were this one, we'd strand this cell. So it's this one. This gray dot has to be talking about a change in direction because the direction is given. So that means it is another domino, which means this dot is talking about a horizontal 1x3. We're done there. Let's see, we've got an alleyway with a white dot, and here so on the other side we have to have another horizontal region, and that defines these as dominoes, maybe the same one, maybe 2 separate ones. Don't know how to know that yet. Here we've got a black dot next to an alley, so we're going to go horizontally. This one is also going to be horizontal. Alley and a black dot makes this vertical. That is all of that deduction that I see right now. This has to come north at least this far, which means this has to go north at least that far. This has to go north at least that far. And let's go to what next? This one? No, we could, well, no, okay, this cell here, okay, this one has to extend. That's the easy way to say this. This has to extend. The white dot means we're staying the same, so we go further that way. The black dot means we're going vertically, and it's 3 cells. It could be these 3 or these 3, but either way, that is a line. And since this is a 1x3 that enters this cell, this can't be a horizontal 1x3, so it's a vertical 1x2, making this a vertical 1x2, making this a domino. Then this comes north, this comes north. Now we've got a black next to an alley. Go this way. This dead end comes out this way. We have a horizontal 1x3 in this cell, but I don't see how to narrow that down yet. It's probably something more I can do on the left side up here, but not seeing it yet. So let's move forward. Maybe there will be something that talks back to the left side through the top area, perhaps. Let's see, what else is vulnerable? We have already marked that. We haven't marked this at all. We've got a black dot next to an alley, so this comes out this way. That makes this come out further. That makes this one vertical. That makes this vertical. And white dot means exactly the same thing there. 2 horizontal and a black dot means this is 3 vertical. That makes this a horizontal domino, but I don't know how to do that yet. This white dot needs to have another vertical domino next to it. This has to come out further. That from the black dot makes this horizontal, and that can only be a domino, which makes this a 1x3 by the black dot. That makes this either a 1x3 horizontal, which it can't be, or a 1x2 vertically. It's gotta be, and this has got to be something vertical, so this goes horizontal. We've got, this is either a horizontal 1x3 or a vertical 1x2. I don't see the problem with either of those yet. This one can't be a horizontal 1x3, so it is a vertical 1x2. That makes this have to be this domino, or we would end up with a solo cell. And down, let's see, we've got this can't go north because we would end up with a solo cell. So this goes south. And then this is going to be vertical because, wait, did I do that right? Yes, I said this couldn't be horizontal because it can't be 1x3. This is vertical, and it's a vertical 1x2. And does that pose a problem? Not obviously. Here we've got a black dot next to an alley, so this will come out this direction. We've got a black dot next to something horizontal, which makes this vertical. Oh, that's going to do a lot of work. Okay, so this becomes 3 long to go with that 2. This becomes vertical, which makes this up here horizontal, which makes, since this is vertical, it's got to be the same length. This has got to be horizontal, and because of the gray dot, it's got to be a 1x3, making this a 1x3, making this a 1x2, making this a 1x3 through the gray dot. This gray dot is good. This comes south. This comes north as a 1x2. This one has to go south, and it's a gray dot. So either we've got a 1x3 vertical, which would make this a solo cell, not allowed, or it's a 1x2 horizontal, making this a 1x2 horizontal, and it's got to be these two. And we've got a black dot next to an alley, so we go out this direction. This is a vertical domino. The white dot makes this a vertical domino, so the black dot is actually a 1x3. This has got to be a vertical or horizontal 1x2 to go with that one. That is giving us a 1x3 here, so we've got a vertical domino one of those two directions. I'm sure that'll become clear very quickly. This has to be a domino, so this is a vertical domino as well, as is that one, as is this one. So these 3 cells are all parts of vertical dominoes, and obviously it's 2 different ones, but I don't know how to split them. Down here we've got these 4 cells, which we've got to split up. We do that. So confident that nothing over here can communicates over here, so we should be able to finish this up just looking at it by itself. And we do that through this gray dot, I think, because that can't be a horizontal 1x3, so it's a vertical domino. That pulls this up like that. And this white dot, this is a horizontal thing going on here, and it therefore has to be a domino. That brings this up here. That makes this a horizontal vertical 1x3 through the black dot. This has to come north. This goes north. We've got to turn because we can't make it a 1x3. This is already a 1x3. Okay, that side's done. Up here. Okay, so white dot from this tells us this is a domino. That also satisfies the gray dot, which is great. We've got domino, domino, domino. Yeah, these 3 are the same thing we saw before over here. That these 4 are all telling us that these things are parts of vertical dominoes. This one's important because we can draw that line in, which tells us how this one goes, which in the black dot tells us how this works. This black dot tells us how this one works. This is vertical and next to a domino, so it's a 1x3. That makes both of these dominoes, which we already knew. This comes down like this, and it's a gray dot, so it's a 1 by 2. This is also a gray dot, and this is the same orientation, so it's got to be longer, which agrees with what this black dot's telling us. And what this gray dot's telling us. This comes out this way. This has got to be going north. This has got to be going north and south. This has got to be going east and west. Now we can start with our dominoes here, here, and here from all of those. And these are the same size but opposite orientations. This comes north. This one of these is going to have to spill the beans now. Different sizes and different orientations. Different orientations, same size. So we either got 2 and 3, and if we had 2 and 3, that would cause a solo cell here. So it's 3 and 2, making this a 3. This is now a 3, obviously. This comes out here at least this far. This gray dot has to keep the same orientation now, so it goes up like that. That forces this into a domino, finishes that off. This comes out this way. We've got this long thing to divide up. This can't change the orientation because there's not enough room for that. So it goes like that. Same thing here. Orientation alone would break it. So it's got to be same direction, different size, like that. Then we've got 4 cells. So we've got to split them up 2 and 2. And then the black dot will help us out here and give us this from the cul-de-sac. And this is 2 and 3 or 3 and 2, depending on what these dots need. This dot needs a 3. And this black dot needs a 3 horizontally, which means this gray dot needs a 3 vertically. This gray dot can't have a 3 horizontally, so it does a domino vertically. And that has given us this black dot next to an alley, so it goes horizontally. We've got to split this 4-cell region into 2 and 2, making this a 3-cell vertical somewhere. This is also vertical, but we don't know how long. It'd be nice if we could solve this little region. This vertical domino with a gray dot can't stay vertical. It's got to be horizontal. And then we've got 4 cells that we've got to split into 2 and 2, and that has told us that this needs to be a 3-cell vertical here. I don't know where to put that, except that those two are connected. But that's good for this one. That solves that. But it also, this gray dot comes into play, and that's got to be a domino. So we can do that and that. This gray dot, we can't do 3 vertically, so we've got to be horizontal with that, and that will tell us how this 1 by 3 works. This gray dot's got to be a 1 by 3 in the other direction. And we've done all of that, just eyeballing, because the puzzle can be easy to miss a line somewhere, I think. So we're really down to this area up here. This domino is and this domino are next to black dots and bounded now, so we can finish those both off. This black dot's got to be a horizontal domino. This gray dot can't be a horizontal 1 by 3, so it's a vertical 1 by 2. And then we just have to split up this 4-cell region into 2 and 2. And that is how we solve a supersized Voxas.